Hi everyone, this is Karen Hightower. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a fun little card project that I want to share with you and a twine technique that I've had several people ask me about doing. So for this card project I will be using the new stamp set, Love Is All You Need by Gina K Designs. I will be using the XO, the Happy Valentines, Love You, the Heart, You, and Are Such a Blessing. So I thought I'd make this for my granddaughter. I think she'll like this little card, and it's going to be a small card. So I have the layers. They are, let's see, the top one is 2.5 by 3.5. Then I have a black layer that'll go under it. It's like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Then I have this piece that will be the panel. It's going to be 3 1/8 by 4. Then the card base is 9 inches, scored at 4.5, and it's 3 3/8 inches wide. I will be using the Dusty Rose, the Red Velvet, and the Jet Black Amalgam Ink, along with some black twine, black and white twine. I have a piece of scrap paper, and I already have my stamps in my Misti. This is the You Are Such a Blessing. And then I have a heart up here, and then the XOXO down here. I will have several other tools, and we'll do some heat embossing with white fine detail embossing powder, but I'll show you all that as we go along. So let me move some stuff out of the way, and we will get going on this. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take the cute little panel here, and I'm going to grab, let's start with this one. So I'm going to ink it up, make sure you can see, in the black amalgam ink. It don't matter, you can use the regular dye ink. This is just something that I had sitting here. So I thought I'd grab it and use it. I will do it twice, I didn't get it inked up well. Okay, I'm going to scoot that one out of the way and grab the other Misti. Okay, so this one I have the XOXO already set up. I'll turn it over so you can see how I did that. Okay, so I'm going to ink up the stamp, and I'm going to stamp it over here on my paper. You'll see why shortly. Okay. So I'm going to put this down, ink it up, and close it. Okay. And see that little bitty dot there of the, that helps me line up with the next one. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. This is 1.25 inches wide, so I can move over. I'm on 2.5, so I'll move over 3.5, 3.25, and then just a little bit. And you want, on this, the way I've done it, I want this little part of the O to show. See how that lines up? So that's going to help me each time I move this up. I'm going to move it up 2 squares, and I will use my magnet for that. I'm going to ink this up, and then I'm going to move it over to where that O is, and I know it's at the top here. So it takes some of the guesswork out of trying to line it up. Perfect each time, and then stamp. And I'll go over, go up 2 squares, 2 of these squares, which is was almost a 1/2 inch. Ink up. Then I'm going to scoot it over Line that up. Oop. And stamp. So now I have the background done. And that was easy. And you can do this with a block, you know, whatever you're comfortable with using. I just made one for my grandson, so it was like, it just made it easy just to do another one too. Okay, so then I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to grab my scrap paper and find a clean spot. I'm going to put that in. Then I'm going to grab my red velvet, and I'm going to ink up the heart. Okay, take it off. I'm going to set that aside and let it dry for a minute because I'm going to heat emboss on it. Okay, I'm going to add the little heart on here. And I'm going to grab my red velvet. I'm going to ink that up. I'll zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to stamp this little heart just to fill in this little section over here. Okay, so we're going to use Versamark and the little love you greeting that comes in this set. I'm going to take my embossing magic dusty thingy, pat it on here real good so nothing sticks where we don't want it. I have my Gina K Designs Fine Detail White Embossing Powder. I'm going to ink up my little greeting, and I'm going to stamp it. And then let me grab my spoon. And we'll tap off the excess. We're going to heat set this real quick, and I won't make you listen to the embossing gun. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to fussy cut this out real quick. Okay, then once you have it cut, you can take your ink pad. You can take a marker and go around the edge if you want, or you can leave it white. Whatever works for you. I'm just going to dab it on here so I don't see any white edges. I have Gina K Designs foam squares. I'm just going to add one to the back of this. There we go. And so I'm going to lay it like that. Grab my dot runner. There we go. And get it centered. Okay, then I'm going to take and attach this to that piece of cardstock that is a layer. It's 3 1/8 wide by 4 inches long, and we'll center that. So now we can do the twine technique that was a happy accident for me. Let me grab a pencil. So I have this piece of the plastic that you use for cross stitching, and I just bought a piece and I've cut it up small and kept it in my drawer. So what I'm going to do, I want to do an X on my card. Originally I wanted 3 X's on one of my cards, but it didn't turn out right. I didn't poke enough holes, and the card was almost put together, so I just went with it. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to line this up, and then make sure it's lined up. Pardon my head. I can't see well at the angle I'm filming. Okay, so I'm going to take my pencil and put a little dot up in the corner, and then I'm going to come down here and make a dot in the white panel. Then I'm going to skip one and do another dot, and a dot here. Then I'll skip another one and do the same thing. And then I'm going to grab that smallest punch. So just punch all these out. Now if you wanted to do the X's across your card, you would do 2 more of the dots. And then I'm going to grab a piece of twine, and I always get way more than I need. Let's see if I can do it with a smaller piece this time. I'd rather have more than not enough, you know. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take, if you have a sewing needle or whatever that you can do this with, it works better for you, that's great. So you just go in one and come back out. Okay. And this is where I make sure I have even tails. And this is why I like to cut it extra long, because it gets all raveled and don't go in the hole. Now you can make the holes larger. So we'll go over here. Okay, and instead of coming up through the next 2 holes, I'm going to skip those and go to the last of the 4 holes. So I'll come up, I'll flip it over so you can see. Instead of going up through that one, I'm going to go to this one. And then I'll go to this one here. Okay, flip it back over. Like I said, if you have needles, sewing needles, you know, the big ones, it might be a lot quicker than trying to do it like this and having to cut your thread. Sometimes you just have to get forceful with it. Poke it through. Okay, so I have the 2 X's, so then I'm going to take the twine and I'm going to come back up through the center holes. So now we have that done. So you have your 2 X's, and then I'm just going to take and tie a bow. And I'm going to cut the tails off. And I know I need ribbon scissors because it just cuts so much easier. There we go. And then what I like to do is grab my Connect glue and put a little dot up under there so I know it don't come unraveled or undone. Then what I will do is grab the little base I cut. This is cut at, let's see, 3 3/8 by 9. And then I scored it at 4 1/2. So I will get some foam squares and we will pop it up. And then what I'll do is grab me a piece of Dusty Rose cardstock. And I will cut it down to go in the center. And so this is 3 3/8. So I'm going to cut it down to 3. And it's 4 1/2, so I'll cut it to 4 1/4. Let's see how that fits. That'll work. And I'm just going to use my dot runner. And attach that to the inside. It says Happy Valentine's Day. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to ink that up in the black Onyx dye ink. And I'm going to stamp that. And I can write my little message. I have one for my grandson and one for my granddaughter, and the little twine technique on there as well. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can find me over on Facebook in the Gina K Designs Friends group, on Instagram as Karen Hightower, and I'll list other links below the video along with products I used and sizes of the panels and layers and stuff. Thank you again for stopping by and have a great day. Bye-bye.